Hey everyone, I'm Marsha. Welcome back to my channel. And today's video was actually inspired by you guys. So I took a poll on my community page asking what type of video you wanted to see next, and the majority of you selected some type of easy chicken dinner. So today we are making Tuscan chicken pasta. Now this recipe is so good, you guys. It includes juicy chicken breast, some vegetables like sun-dried tomatoes and spinach, and pasta, and it all comes together in one dish and is mixed with a creamy Parmesan sauce that covers the entire thing. And if you've never cooked with sun-dried tomatoes, you are going to be blown away by how good it tastes in this recipe. So before we get started, as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And without further ado, let's jump into the recipe. All right, so first we're gonna start off dicing one small yellow onion. And if you have a really big onion or like a jumbo onion, then just cut half of it. You don't need the whole thing, but mine was pretty small, so I end up using the entire onion. Once I have that chopped up, I'm just gonna move that to the side. And then I'm going to work on my garlic. So I have about three or four big garlic cloves that I'm just gonna crush up in my garlic press. And then I'm gonna move on to the sun-dried tomatoes. So sun-dried tomatoes are usually packed in some type of oil. These ones are pre-cut, but if you get some that aren't cut, don't worry, you can just chop those up yourself. But these are already cut up, so I don't have to do anything but measure them out. So I'm gonna measure them out, and then I'm gonna drain that extra oil. So this is a very important step. You don't want that extra oil in your pasta because then it'll be too oily. So I'm draining that excess oil that it's packed in, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and move that to the side. Now it's time to work on our chicken. So I have 2 chicken breasts that I'm gonna cut in half. And I did this in a few different videos. I actually have a video dedicated to cooking chicken breast, sauteing chicken breast on the stove like we're about to do here. So if you want to watch that video after this one, you can get like the full step-by-step plus extra tips. But I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm just cutting this in half, and then I'm going to season it, and then I'm going to cook it. So once I cut my chicken breast in half, I'm going to go ahead and season it with some salt and some pepper, some Italian seasoning, and some paprika. And so I want to make sure this is well seasoned. As you see, or as you will see throughout the video, I'm going to season everything throughout the video. So you want everything to be well seasoned, and you want to do it in stages or in layers. So starting with this chicken breast. So turn it over, season both sides of it. And then one extra step that I'm gonna do, you don't have to, but I like to do it in certain recipes, is to lightly flour the chicken. So this is kind of called pan frying the chicken or pan fried chicken. So it's not like a deep fry, you guys, where you're battering it in some egg and then you're gonna double coat it. You don't have to do any of that. This is just a lightly floured batter or lightly floured chicken breast, and it just gives it a little bit of extra something, and it helps the sauce to kind of hold on to that chicken. So if you're making like something with a cream sauce like we're doing now, it would be kind of good to kind of pan fry the chicken with a little bit of flour. Or if you're making something with some gravy, pan fried chicken breast tastes really good. So after that is done, it's time to cook it. So I have some oil and a little bit of butter in a large deep skillet, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pan fry this chicken. It only takes about 4 minutes on both sides. Please ignore that little piece that's in the middle. I do not know what happened with my cutting skills today, but apparently I had a little piece left over, so I'm cooking it as well. Moving on to our pasta. So I have a large pot of boiling water that I'm just going to add some salt to. And then I'm going to dump in my pasta. I am using penne pasta, but feel free to use your favorite. And then I'm just going to cook that according to the package instructions. Next, once my chicken is done, I'm going to go ahead and remove that from the skillet. If you have a little bit of grease or a little bit too much grease left over, feel free to kind of wipe some of that up carefully with a paper towel. Now I'm going to add in a little bit of extra butter for flavor, and then I'm going to go ahead and start sauteing my vegetables, starting with those onions. I always like to start with my onions just to go ahead and get them nice and translucent and get that flavor going. So after my onions have sauteed for about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, then I'm going to dump in that garlic, let that saute for about 30 seconds because you don't want your garlic to burn. Next, I'm going to add in those sun-dried tomatoes. And at this point, you guys, your kitchen should be smelling amazing. So the sun-dried tomatoes really give this recipe a lot of flavor. So please do not skip it. It is essential to this recipe and it tastes so good. If you've never cooked with sun-dried tomatoes, you definitely should start. Try it out in this recipe. I promise you will love it. Next, I'm going to add in that spinach. So spinach is also essential to this Tuscan chicken pasta. It looks like a lot of spinach. Trust me, once it cooks down, it will look like you hardly have any. So you want to add in some big handfuls of spinach in there. I do have the full recipe and the amounts and the ingredients listed down in the description box below. So check out that full recipe post. Next, I'm going to add in a little bit of chicken broth for more flavor and to kind of scrape up any brown bits. Then it's time to add in our cream. So we're using heavy cream. You can use half and half, but most of the time I use heavy cream. I would not recommend milk just because for cream sauce, you want something a little bit thicker with a little bit more fat in it. So heavy cream goes in. Then we want to add in our Parmesan cheese. So I'm using freshly shredded cheese. So this is just a little bit better than that prepackaged cheese that you get that has fillers and preservatives in it. So this one's kind of freshly grated, or you can just buy the block and grate it yourself. Sometimes I do that as well. But you want to add in that cheese. Go ahead and stir that cheese in. And then I told you guys we like to season this in layers. So now we want to season this sauce. So don't skip this step. We're going to season the sauce with some Italian seasoning and some salt. Feel free to throw in some pepper if you want. Again, all the measurements are listed in the recipe post in the description box. But go ahead and season that sauce. That's very important because we want everything to be coated in that sauce. So just go ahead and let that simmer on low or medium low heat. While that's simmering, go ahead and cut up your chicken. Please don't ask me why I'm using a serrated bread knife. Sometimes I just really like using that particular knife. But after you have cut up your chicken, then it's time to add in that cooked pasta. So we already cooked it according to the package instructions. So this is where it all comes together. So that sauce just coats those noodles perfectly. And if it looks like it's a little bit runny, don't worry, because as it sits, it will thicken up. So this is exactly how it's supposed to look at this point. So just make sure everything is coated nicely. And then it's time to add that chicken back on top, or you can mix it in, whichever you want to do. But you guys, that's it. You have your Tuscan chicken pasta and it tastes really good. Trust me on this one. Try this recipe out. If you want to chop up your chicken in like kind of bite-sized pieces, you can do that too and just mix it in. After I finished this video and took the photo, trust me, I mixed everything together because that's how we really gonna eat it. But I wanted a pretty presentation, so that's the reason why I did it like this. But this is your Tuscan chicken pasta. I hope you enjoy it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this recipe video. If you did, please leave me a big thumbs up down below because it really helps my channel out. And of course, again, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below along with the bell so you never miss when I upload a new video. And until next time, friends, I'll see you later.